Good morning, everybody. I just sent your first delivery off with the bus drivers. So we've got a nice bag of supplies and a bunch of flowers. I hope you put your flowers right in some water, cut the stems a little bit on the end so they'd be nice and fresh. I have plans for everything that I sent you. So there'll be a different little lesson every morning that we can go through this week as we use your flowers. So the first thing I want you to do with the flowers, though, is to create something for your workspace. I'm going to make one for mine, and I'd like you guys to post a picture of your workspace with your flowers on whatever workspace that is. So it'll be kind of fun to see where you guys are all hanging out and getting your work done. So for this project, in your supplies bag, you're going to find a Bud Vase. I think we've done these together before. It's called a Bud Vase because it's it's typically a tall, thin-necked vase that's just for one or maybe two flowers or one flower with a little bit of foliage and some filler. And so inside your bunches of flowers, you should have a nice long piece of leatherleaf fern. You might find that some of the pieces of leatherleaf that you got were short, and that's okay. We're going to use those for some wiring and taping projects, and it's okay that they don't have long stems. Just try to make sure they get in some water so they stay fresh. We're also going to use your yellow rose, which I think these guys are just beautiful, and a piece of your baby's breath. So chances are your baby's breath that you got is too much for just the Bud Vase project, and that's part of the plan. We're going to have other things that we use those smaller pieces of baby breath for, so just make sure you set them aside and put them in a jar of water. So you're going to take your, the first thing we're going to do is size up your leather leaf, and we're going to go with that whole one at a time, bigger than the size of the container. So you can go equal size, so they're both the same in height, or you can do the 1/3, 2/3, somewhere in the middle there. So you're going to hold your stem of leather leaf, and you want to make sure that the bottom leaf kind of rests right at the top of the mouth of the container. And if you see any little broken or bent pieces of leaves on your leather leaf, then by all means cut that off. Now, we don't want too much baby's breath. Remember, this is just a filler. So I'm going to take these side shoots off, and any little broken shoot I'm also going to take off, because you don't want to overwhelm the arrangement with baby's breath. The purpose of the baby's breath is to enjoy the yellow rose, to have a nice green backdrop, and I'm actually going to cut this guy just a little tiny bit shorter because it's tipping back on me a little more than I like. Oh, that's much better, just resting on the edge. Okay. So I'm going to take, and we're essentially putting this together in the same way that we wrap flowers. We start with our foliage, and then we add our filler, and then we add our main flower, and we're going to stagger them down just a little tiny bit each time. So I'm going to hold this stem of baby's breath next to my Bud Vase and kind of keep cutting it until it gets to be just the height that I want. So it's just a tiny bit lower than that leather leaf. And I'm going to tuck that in. Now, sometimes when you put it in the vase, you'll see, oh, that's a little taller than I wanted. So I'm going to take it back out. Maybe trim off another ½ an inch. Remember, you can always cut more, but you can't put it back on. So now I'm liking the way this looks. I'm going to untangle my baby's breath. And now I'm going to cut my rose so it nestles right in there. So it's just the tiniest bit shorter. I'm going to take off any of these side leaves that are going to be in my way. And I want it just to be a tiny bit shorter than that back piece of baby's breath. So I want to cut it just a little bit more. Again, it looks like it's there when I measure it against the vase, and then when I put it in the vase, the bottom of the vase is thicker than I realized. Here we go. This is going on my workspace. You guys know what my workspace looks like. It's going to be right here on my desk. So I hope you enjoy your single yellow rose Bud Vase arrangement. It's a very simple thing, but it's a classic, timeless style of arranging that is going to brighten up wherever you're working. Maybe you'll decide you want to put it on the kitchen table or somewhere where other people can enjoy it too. But it's for you to brighten up your workspace and to be your first project. So please post a picture of it on the stream. Have a great day, guys. Bye.